Grab your treasure maps, Wargamers, because today we are going back into the dungeons beneath Castle Meatgrinder. The second dungeon delve with our heroic fellas using the Song of Blades and Heroes, more specifically the bolt-on edition Song of Gold and Darkness. Just to introduce you to our heroes, we've got Carletto the War Mage, this is Breeze Lee the Barbarian, we've got an elf hero, Dar Tamart, an assassin, where's the assassin? There he is. He is named John of the Scar. And then an elite dwarf warrior in the pale blue and orange, that is Zai. And 3 elite archers, they're going to be henching for our boys, although they're not very good spear carriers, they're not very good bullet sponges because they kind of hang in the back and just plink away at the bad guys. These are going to be Jerry, Steve, and Carl. Unlike last time, where we tried something different, we tried to use homemade random cards, and it worked. Yeah, it worked. You know, let's not get too carried away. It kind of worked. We're going to be going back to the constructed dungeon, which you've seen in the past. I'm not going to show you the whole thing just yet, but I want to let you know one thing we're going to do a little bit different. This particular warband is worth a grand total of about 500 points, if I've added everything up properly. So we are going to go ahead and figure out who they're facing in the dungeon. So here we are. What we've got is another level of the dungeons beneath Castle Meatgrinder, and what we have is a 500-point band of heroes. I've got 1,000 points worth of enemies. It's actually 900 points, and that's what these various cards are. One of the cards has a trap. These are special dungeon features, and I don't know exactly where the special dungeon features are. Once you move on to the circle, we're going to roll a d6, and in some cases, like right here, the feature is either going to be at 1, 3, or 5. If I roll a 2, 4, or 6, it turns out it's nothing at all. Likewise with this, once you step into the circle, whatever we discover will be discovered. And over here, it's only on a 1 and a 4 that we find something. Our band of adventurers are going to start by coming in here, and as soon as they enter a room, we'll flip over the card. The bad guys are going to attack, and they're doing that because this room is somewhat, what would you call it, isolated from the rest of the dungeon. There is a chance anytime this guy here, Carletto, casts a spell, we got to check, on a 6, a card from the next room is going to be revealed, the monsters will be revealed, and they're going to come try to take advantage of the situation by dogpiling in. So with a cascading effect, it could be a 500 versus a 1,000 point battle, but for the most part, these cards are all anywhere from 50 to 200 points. So if they can take them out one at a time, it should be a series of fairly easy fights. Think of the last one, we just had one big brawl, and it was essentially a game of Song of Blades and Heroes in a confined, very small 8 by 10 table. It worked okay. It was fun. It was nice. But this is really a lot more of a classic style dungeon crawl. For those of you that are curious, this is just a simple, it's just like 1 by 2s that I screwed together, and then the board that I put it on is just plain, 5mm particle board. The walls are pink styrofoam construction with a little bit of sand glued down, a little bit of cardboard, and then, I should also point out, there normally would be a door here, but in order to keep things fresh, I like to block things off, so that doorway is not a doorway at all. To get to this card here, our heroes are going to have to kind of snake their way through the whole thing. All right, so with that out of the way, I think we're ready to go. I am going to be moving the camera around like a maniac, but I think, given the geometry here, it's not going to be that hard to see where they're at, where they're going, and to follow the action, because I want to get in a little bit tighter as we go. All right? So, they're moving in, and we're going to see what's under that card. Actually, yeah, so let me get the guys in place first before the ambush happens. All right, having crossed the threshold into the underworld, our heroes resume their journey. As you can see, they're all face back. We got 5 shooters, and we got 3 meat shields ready to run up and take action. Good old Breeze Lee here is first in line. And we have, a classic, orcs. 200 points worth of orcs. I've got D3 warriors and D3 shooters. Let's grab some dice. 3 dice. We've got red for the warrior. Excuse me, let me call it out. Red is for how many warriors, yellow is for how many shooters, and then this special to see who else we got joining in the fun is going to be the green die. So rolling those so that you know I'm being honest here, we're going to wind up with 2 warriors, 3 shooters, and a leader who is a leader and who is also tough, meaning you're going to have to hit him 3 times to finally put him down. They are subject to morale rules, which is going to be great because our barbarian is savage and he's kind of a butt kicker. To figure out where these dwarves start, I'm going to use my favorite, one of my favorites, the die drop method. Oh, isn't that interesting? So using the same colors that we had before, one of these orcs, so we got 3 shooters in yellow. So we're going to put one there, and it looks like one of these fellers, see he's got a little bow, he's going to be the one up front, and then we'll drop our 2 warriors there and our leader back here. Now one thing you might notice is that this dungeon, we're actually going to cheat him up a little bit. I don't want him standing completely outside the room. There's our trap again. But now we got a starting area, and still a little bare. Let's go ahead and flesh this dungeon out just a little bit more, shall we? Alakablamo. We're going to give him a little table, a little bit of dungeon dressing. See, look, little popsicle sticks. That's lolly sticks for those of you over in Britlandia. Glued together, put on a little cardboard base, and that's going to make a fine obstacle to have to maneuver around as we go. Green dice for the good guys, yellow dice for, or excuse me, red dice for the bad guys. We got to roll for initiative. And it looks like the red guys are going to go first. So that gives them a chance to set up and get ready and face our heroes in a much more manner conducive to their number. This shooter, they activate on a 4+. I just want to get him out of there. He wants to move. He is not a frontline fighter. They move medium distance, so he's going to touch down. We're going to put our stick, and he's going to touch down right over there. Then we're going to go ahead and try to take a shot with this guy over at the dwarf hero. They don't like dwarves after all. And with a 4, he's going to succeed. So, got to roll for combat. Mr. Zai, the dwarf, has a combat of 4, and our shooter has a combat of 3. So that is a 5 versus an 8. When you win with an odd number, you get pushed back. So he's got to fall back. I'm taking fire, boyos. I think we're going to go ahead and move this guy up next. And with a 4, he is more than happy to get stuck in. He's going to charge forward and not quite have enough movement to make contact. That's all right. He's got reinforcements coming. This guy is also going to try to move in with a 1. He can't be bothered. And then I'm going to go ahead and try to roll. Oh boy, I want to bring him up as well. We got to bring him up. Now that leader activates on a 3+. I'm going to roll 2 dice. He's going to get 2 actions. I'll have to be careful with that. So action number 1 is going to be moving a medium distance. And I think action number 2, he's going to... action number 2, who does he want to close with? He does not like dwarves, so he's going to close with a dwarf. And then we have our last shooter back here who's going to step up, and he's going to roll 3 action dice. He's going to get 2 successes, which is enough. We'll go ahead and move him up to here so that we have a line of sight to here. Normally I think you have to fire at the closest guy, but we got a high back chair in the way. I don't think he has a line of sight to the barbarian, so he's going to go ahead and take a shot at Mr. Dar Tamart. He's going to be shooting on a 3, and Dar Tamart is going to be on a 3. Of course, if Dar Tamart wins, which he did, 9 versus 3, but because he's shooting, it's no effect. There you go. There is your first turn for the Orky boys. Before we take the first turn with our heroes, I'll point out, I call this card 200 points. I have no idea how many points all of these orcs are worth. I worked it out so that on average, you're going to be fighting against about 200 dudes. You're going to be fighting, hey, about 2 of these and about 2 of these and then 1 of these. And if you tally up all the points, it works out to about 200 points on average. So that's where we're at. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and roll 2 dice to try and activate Mr. Zai, the dwarf hero, and he activates on a 3+, so he gets 1 action, and he's going to take that action to bonk the orc on the head. And this time, he has a combat of 4 versus an orc with a combat of 3, so that's going to be a problem. 5 versus 9 means that he gets knocked down. That makes it relatively easy to know what to do first. I want to go ahead and try to roll 3 dice for Dartamart. He's going to take a shot at this guy first. Now, he activates on a 3+. So, oh my gosh, he got 2 failures. So he gets to take a shot, but that's the end of the good guy's turn, and that's going to be a problem for Zai the dwarf. Not only that, but our elf hero scores a 6 compared to a 9 for the orc. And that means, what is wrong with this orc's axe, man? You need to take some shark cartilage pills, guy. Let's go ahead and bend that back up. There we go. Jeez. Low T. There we go. That is a real problem because he's going to go first, and all he needs is a 4, 5, 6 to make an attack. Oh, all he needs is a 4, 5, 6, and he doesn't get it. Okay, so our second... Who wants to run up next? Oh, wait, that's the leader, isn't it? Yeah, see his funny hat? What does he activate on? Leader's activated on a 3+. Warrior's on a 4+. What did I just roll? I'm going to have to go to the tape. It was a 2, so he doesn't get to act this turn. He's trying for the kill shot. Or this is an orc. They like to kick a man when he's down. We are... Man, that would have been really good for the orcs if they could have taken him out. Instead, we're stuck bringing this guy into the action. Let's go... We're a little too close to take any more shots. Let's try and bring him up. And on a 3 is not going to do it. Let's go ahead and... We're going to try 3 actions with this warrior. We're going to get 2 successes on a 4 and a 5. So he can move up and he can attack John of the Scar, the assassin. We're going to roll d6. John has a combat of 4. Orc has a combat of 3. The orc gets a 9. Our assassin has a 7. And on a 6, he falls down 2. And with that, I think this orc... Oh, I lied. This orc actually does have a shot at him. He's going to try to take 2 actions, hoping for the 1. He got 1 action, which is enough to keep the turn going, and is enough to go ahead and take a shot. 3 versus 3. Our barbarian has a combat skill of 4, so that is a failure. He missed. This guy, we decided, does not have an attack. So let's do this. Let's bring this warrior up first, just once. All right, so he gets to move. We're going to put the measuring stick here, and we're going to... Oh, you know, I know we're not. We're going to bring him around this way. We're going to bring him around to there. That should keep some lines of sight open, because he has a shot over here now. We're going to take 2 actions, and with a 2 and a 3, we're not going to get any. That ends the orc's turn. On that note, they've got 2 guys down. It's time for our heroes to try and push their luck. First thing we're going to do is we're going to roll 1 die. We just got to see if we can stand up our assassin. On a 6, he gets an action. He stands up. Likewise, it's really important that we stand up Mr. Dwarf. And on a 2, Mr. Dwarf, Zai, does not. He's got a quality of 3. Turn still continues. We're going to try to take 2 actions with our barbarian. Gotta lend him aid. And a pair of 6s is a good thing. It means he gets to run over and distract the orc leader. Now, the orc leader can no longer attack a man down. He has to deal with a guy that's in his face first. We're going to do a straight-up attack. Our leader has a combat of 4. Our barbarian has a combat of 4. And the barbarian wins. Now, here's where our heroes have a chance to prove their mettle. Because he won with an odd number, but he didn't, like, double him or anything like that. 7 versus 6. He gets pushed back 1 base width. That counts as a recoil, and it's still our hero's turn. Our elf has not shot yet. He has... Does he have a clear line of sight? Ooh. Forgive me for those of you that speak a different language of English. If he has a clear line of sight to this guy. Now, he is firing past one of his opponents. So I want to go to the rules real quick on this one. I thought there was a rule about if you're within one base width of an ally, if you're shooting too close to them, there's a chance that you could hit your ally. But I can't find it, so I'm going to ignore it. If you have a clear line of sight, you got a shot. So Mr. Elf Hero is going to roll 2 dice for 2 activations. He's only going to get 1, but that's all he needs to take the shot. Take the shot! And a tie die roll, however, Mr. Dar Tamart has a combat of 3 versus a combat of 3. Oh, it's just a tie. Nothing happens. Nice shooting, Tex. Here's the question. If our wizard takes a shot, if Carletto decides to try and ensorcel one of these bad boys, on a 6, we flip over one of these 2 cards and they come running. And given how long this fight has taken already, I'm not sure that's such a good idea. So instead, we're going to move him, we're going to roll 1 activation for him, and we're going to try to get him out of the way. A 2 is not going to do it. He's got a quality of 4. Let's see if we can bring this guy up. And a 1's not going to do it, so we'll bring up, who is that? We'll bring up old Steve. So Steve is going to move up a medium distance, like so, to here. And let's go ahead and take a shot at this guy. Oh no, he only has 1. He just moves up there. This guy now is the last guy I want to try to do anything with. I'm going to roll 3 actions for him. I'm going to roll 3 actions. So he attack. No, I take it back. Our assassin hasn't gone yet. He's going to make a regular attack. This is 4 versus a 3. So our assassin wins, but he's an assassin. He is trained to find people's weak spot. So because he beat this orc by just 1 guy, that orc still goes off to orc heaven. If he was a good orc. Well, if he was a bad orc. Good orcs go to orc hell? Heaven? I don't know. He's a bad guy. He sent him straight to hell. Creatures of chaos all go to hell. It's the people in favor of order. Those are the guys that get to survive. The last guy we have left to do then is our dwarf, who's going to go ahead and roll 3 activations, and he's going to get a grand total of, hey Zai, what are you doing? Quality 3. That's at least enough to stand up, so he doesn't have to worry about orcs kicking him when he's down. Although he's a dwarf, so he's used to being closer to down than most people. That ends the good guy's turn, and oh, now it's time for the bad guy's turn. I wonder if we should be rolling a d6 every turn to see if more monsters come. I kind of think we should, don't you? Yeah, let's do it. D6. On a 6. Oh my gosh, so that's going to be... We're going to draw the card that's in that room. Here, let me show you. We're going to draw the card in that room on a 1, 2, 3, and this one on a 4, 5, 6. And on a 1, 2, 3, we're going to draw this card over here. And it's the hideous thing with that hideous strength. It is a big, it is got a long move, it is savage, and it is a herp. Oh no, a hero, sorry. The hideous thing wakes up. You're going to love this. Wait till you get a look at what this guy is. But you're going to have to wait a couple of days to love it. So I'm going to leave you in suspense. For about 48 hours, this video, when I sat down to edit it, proved to be a lot longer than my sad little system can handle. I'm breaking it up into multiple chapters. Looks like it's going to be a 4-parter this time. We're going to send our bad boys down into the depths of the dungeon, and we're going to see exactly how deep they can go before they die, almost to the last man. Who will live, who will die, who will survive, and who will thrive? Find out in the next few episodes of A Song of Golden Darkness as our heroes try to cleanse the world of the forces of chaos down there deep below the dungeons of Castle Meatgrinder.